Yeah, I went over yesterday to the rehab, Largo Rehab over there, Brian Derry and Starkey there. To see, I got two people.
They rehab
No, they didn't. They got see John Bittner over there and Paul Dar.
Is that where he's at?
Yeah, he's been there for about almost a year.
Wow.
And Paul Dar's looking good. You know, Paul's the guy that Tommy was helping out, so he looks good over there, man. He looks good. He got color back to his skin and getting a little weight on him, so he looks good. John, on the other hand, he's got his, COPD or whatever, and he tells me he ain't smoking. I said, I don't mean. I can't understand. I just can't understand that.
Gordon, man, it's killing me. Stop it.
Randy?
No, I've read stories where people dying from cancer, had tracheotomies and stuff. And then, they want somebody to put a cigarette up there. Yeah, it's like.
You been with any of those places, Gordon?
Talk about the devil's deceiving him.
Want some more for your dog?
That's addiction. But it's sad, you got John. I mean, you got.
Well, I don't own a dog, so I can't I can just take it to my dog.
Yeah. You got Randy and Andy, and both of those guys are just smoking. And I said,
Both of them terrible health.
yeah.
They can't afford to smoke. Really.
I can't afford to challenge us.
Have you talked to those two at all?
Anyone
Yeah,
who's,
they were at my house.
anyone who is overweight, don't you dare talk about anybody have a smoke.
There you go, Sam.
Because here for the grace go on. God is so merciful.
Some things are obvious, though.
Yeah,
Some things are so obvious that
it's
Well,
just
smoking's obvious.
that's what I'm talking about.
Obesity
Judge-
eventually kills you.
judgment-
Longer.
mercy always triumphs over judgment.
Amen.
People struggle, and however they struggle, and the blood of Jesus cleanses us from all sin. And if one dies because he can't breathe because he's smoking and so addicted, or the man who dies because he took too many pills because he's in so much pain, or how about my dear friend who took a revolver and shot himself in the chest because he had bone spurs up and down his spine, inside and outside. So every time he would move, breathe, laugh, you name it, the spurs would just dig into him. And he couldn't take pain pills because he was an old-time addict. So what did this do? This guy was an engineer for Caterpillar for 20 years. And, my dear brother, Dave, was an artist. He broke his legs. He lived through cancer, he lived through a major heart attack, and yet he couldn't handle the pain. And his wife was let go from Raytheon 2 weeks before her 10 years because they didn't want to handle his insurance thing. And so he took his own life in Raytheon parking lot and left a note for Raytheon, but you never read about it. You never know about it. That Raytheon basically. And that word is there are people who take advantage of the low. And so big corporate America did that. Took my father, says we was at a second father. He and his wife had adopted our kids. We had no money for so many years. They made Christmas. And when we needed a screen door in the house, and they buy a screen door for the house. Just, you know, and that's what, you know, the grace of God covers us and keeps us so that we would not. Would you like to be judged with the same judgment you judge others? I want to love people where you're at. People are so broken. You know, if you're forgotten, you know how broken you are. Maybe you need to come nursing home. See it week after week after week. Thank God you can walk out. You know, recalibrate. Like the old-fashioned Garmin, you know, you missed a turn. Recalibrate. And
You know, my father was an alcoholic. And he was a smoker. And a womanizer. And everything else. Good provider though. Worked at the steel mill. But and he had issues, you know. But they gave my father an option. He was working at the U.S. Steel. They gave him the option of going to rehab or not get his pension.
For alcoholism?
And guess what? My father went to rehab, and for the longest, he always carry he'll always have a big thermos of coffee.
Dog.
You know, because he substitutes something for something, but that helped him. Well, he quit the alcoholism and, you know, went to rehab, and, you know, he got his pension and all that. And then the next thing was he quit smoking. You know, all those years and all that, he quit.
Yeah, but he might have been one of those smokers that when he drank, he needed to smoke.
He smoked all the time, drank, smoked, whatever, all the time. She used to steal his cigarettes.
Maybe they're hardcore.
Yeah, you know, but there's always a motivating factor. But sometimes it's not always. But for my father, not getting that pension, he went to rehab, and that got his attention, you know. And when Gordon was laid up in the hospital, you know, I just said, man, give the man a cigarette. Give the man a cigarette. Because, you know, while he was alive and well, and he had an opportunity to, he just didn't want to, couldn't, whatever the scenario. But at that time, well, just go ahead, give him a cigarette, you know, what the heck. You know, he said, leave the poor guy alone.
Damage is done, right?
Damage is done, you ain't gonna do anything else, you know. God still loves him, he's still going to heaven, he accepted Christ, and all that stuff, but...
Sandbox said, smoking won't send you to hell, but it just makes you smell like a
Yeah. And, but, you know, the idea is if you have a chance, you know, to quit. Look at Tommy Gillis. When Tommy, when I started the Dream Center and I was in downtown, and Tommy came to me, he says, Sam, I want to lead a recovery group. I told Tommy, I says, you know, Tommy, I would love you to do that, but you haven't recovered. And he said, what do you mean? Well, Well, you don't drink and all that, but how you gonna sit there and do a 12-step program of recovery and you're smoking still? That to me is hypocritical. And so think about it. Go home, think about it. Let me know what you want to do. He went home that night, thought about it, and came back to me the next day. I quit. And he quit all those years, just like that, cold turkey. Why? Because that was more important to him than the cigarette. And so when you have something that's more important to you than whatever addiction you're in, cigarette, whatever, then you'll put it away. If it's important to you. My father, that pension was important to him. And then he eventually quit the cigarettes too because he didn't need that anymore. Because
How long did he live?
With my father?
After.
He was in the 70s, almost 80.
So he lived another.
He lived a long life.
Yeah, he lived a
15
long
years
life.
after.
Yeah. And so it's what's the motivating factor for you to do what you want to do? If you can't put this down because you have something that is greater, and I guess that's where you look at it, if you don't if you enjoy it, go. You still go to heaven. But for me, and that's the problem that I have with the 12-step program here in this county, especially Celebrate Recovery or any other one. Because I know guys that are doing Celebrate Recovery and they're facilitating the thing, and then at the break, he goes out with the guys and they smoke. I says, you have to be an example. If you want to be a leader, a pastor, or whatever, you have to be an example. And so, when you go to heaven, of course you will. Of course you will. You've accepted Christ, you love, and I just, for me, as a leader, that you have to set the example of what you're trying to do. That's all I say. And that not if God doesn't love you anymore or less, He loves you. I would have loved to have seen Gordon around, even though he was the biggest pain in the butt that I had. But he was still my Gordon. And I love that man.
I didn't know Gordon that much. I remember him at Bay Pines years and years and years ago, but I never got to know him that.
Always had a smile. Didn't have.
Good morning. Happy Monday, happy Friday, happy Tuesday, happy Friday.
What we got?
Yeah.
Made you feel uncomfortable because you were happy Monday, right?
Well,
Dad came off the street.
they told him at the VA.
Get more of those, let them get over.
Yeah.
Unhappy Monday.
Yeah. They told him at the VA to quit that, to quit saying that.
Come on.
Seriously, at the VA, they told him. They got on his case about it.
Why? Did they give him a reason?
Because I guess it aggravated everybody.
Not everybody's happy, right?
They weren't happy,
Yeah, not everybody's happy.
They were jealous.
That misery wanting company then is when they're the one telling them.
Miserable don't want happy people around.
Yeah, and
Misery loves company.
I remember one of my old pastors, Pastor Dave, at Pinellas Community Church. Well, again, he made a no smoking zone. But he said to him, if I could, I'll put an exhaust fan or something up in the bleachers, and if you guys want to smoke, then go up there and smoke while we have service. He didn't care, because really, it's salvation.
Come as you are.
Come as you are. But, again,
We get away from that come as you are mentality. I even do it.
Well, you know what's happened? Churches have become a social club instead of a spiritual hospital. That's exactly what's happening to a lot
Well,
of
I think it
churches.
needs to be a little bit of everything, but majority Christian
But it's just
preaching
not
and teaching.
rah, it's just kumbaya, let's get pumped
Well,
up. then they go back and sin.
You also see a lot of churches that are full of gray hair too,
Yeah.
because they're not changing their mold. So, I mean, I think it needs to
You
be,
gotta constantly be growing the church.
I
and
think
that's only
the,
young
the outreach
families.
stuff for the kids and the food pantries and the dinners and the
Senior pastor
socialism.
can't do it. He's
It's
gotta
not
have
just, it's the community sharing.
You know what?
Right.
Right there is, to me, is the most important thing.
The outreach.
No, the community
Yeah.
within. If you do not have community within the body, you don't have jack.
You don't have
You
community.
know, all you do is just go there, blah blah blah, blah and then leave. And to me, I'll be honest with you, I'm not particularly care for church, because what I do, I see is a bunch of people, they come in together a couple of days a week, and then when they leave, boom. And where was Johnny? Where was Julio? Where was it? Does anybody call him? They weren't there in church today. Why didn't somebody call? No, well, he just died because at home he didn't have no food or something like that. You know, the biggest thing that in the body should be is that you go and visit your people. If you don't have koinonia, if you don't have a relationship, and you think just by going to church, you can sit up there, you play, or you do this and do that, that's church? That's not church. That's bogus, man. Because a church is community, relational. People come together, they eat. These mega churches, that's ridiculous. You know?
It'd be hard to make that a community,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's too overpowering.
It is. You know, and small groups, it's always been a great concept. A lot of people don't like, but small groups, you know, let's say Elsie has a Bible study at his house once a week. Well, let's say he has maybe 10, 12 people there. Well, that becomes community. And in that community, you know,
You get camaraderie.
you're right, you have that relationship. You know, hey, where's Mark? How come Mark didn't show up? He's
Check on, make sure he's okay.
right. You know, this that's always. He said, "Did you call over?
He's
Did you
good
call
at that.
this?"
He
Yeah.
called me, wondering
Right.
if I was okay.
Right. And see, that's church. That's community.
That's community.
How many times somebody called
camaraderie,
you from
too.
your church? See if you're doing. They haven't seen you for a while. Where you at, Sam? Where you at? You know?
I got a question I need answered.
No.
It's come up a lot in my life, and I just agree with them, but I don't have a comeback for it. And what it is we all see it, we all know it's there, but when you go to a church and you say, oh, he's a Christian on Sunday at church, but then when he leaves, he's a whole different creature, you know. And that's an individual thing, which I understand. Everybody's got their own wrath to deal with, I understand. But what to come back to a person that won't cross that line because that's blocking them?
I really believe that prayer is the answer. Because,
Did you say
you know,
prayer?
Prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you, when again you go toward judgment, mercy always triumphs over judgment. And if you can't pray or really cry for that person, do you really even care? Or are you just judging? And it's challenging because it always comes back to ourselves. Lord, it's between you and me. It's not really between anybody else, because you know, some of the songs that we sing. As we walk with the Lord, how? In the light of His Word, what a wonder He sheds on our way. As we do His good will, yes, He abides with us always. The Word says still. All to those who will, what? Trust and obey. Now there is another way, but it's not good. It's judgmental. And what would Jesus do?
He would show them, he would tell them the word and show them the light, the right way to go.
I think what
He was
Andre
the
touched on
ultimate
about
teacher.
I think what Andre touched on about prayer is important. Once you got a heart to pray for somebody, guess what the next step is? Hey brother, what are you doing Friday night? Maybe you know he goes to the bar. Hey, how about you and I go to get together and we go, let's go bowling, let's go see a movie, let's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Anything out with the bar
You're
or
getting
whatever.
involved, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're doing the next step.
Community.
See, I think the part of that issue is that it's easy to criticize that individual.
I get that, but
But listen, it's easy to criticize because that's all they could do. Rather than calling them, hey,
them committing.
yeah, and hey, how you doing? What's going on? You know, building relationship. See, relationship, that's greatest two commandments. Love you God all your heart, soul, love your neighbor as yourself. How do you show love? Oh, I love you, buddy. You don't ever call the guy, don't even know if he has food in his home. One of the greatest outreaches that we had back in the day in South St. Pete, but we had the Sidewalk Sunday School program, and we did stuff with the kids. Well, guess what? One Saturday, we did the program with the kids. We had the addresses and all that. The next Saturday, instead of doing that program, we went to all their homes, met their moms, met their dads, or whatever. And I remember one day we were doing that, and we went. There was a little old lady in that house that her faucet was dripping, and had no food in the house. So somebody called me, one of the guys. So, man, we got a big box of food and took it over there. But how will you know if that thing is dripping or they have food in the house unless you go there? How you gonna know?
Every day you get up.
That's why you get in where you start picking in other people's business so you can figure out how to handle it.
Exactly. People may not like
Because they're
it.
too ashamed to open up their mouth and
Right,
say, no.
exactly. That's why we ask those questions that they don't want to answer. Paris, you guys remember Paris, the little girl Paris? They got shot in her bedroom. They shot through the house. That Paris, okay. That girl Paris, and we knew her and her family. And so when they did that, they killed and all that, they did this big thing in St. Petersburg. I don't know if you guys remember. They cleaned, they were fixing homes and painting. They named a street called Paris for that little girl. So after the hoopla, all the hoopla went, and then they were going to the park for the celebration, right? Because we had a big outreach out there. Well, I went, one more thing. Me and somebody else went over to her house, and because I knew the lady, and I asked her, oh, this looks beautiful. But guess what? The camera was gone, the people were gone. They had not one stick of furniture in that house. The refrigerator was empty. So see, as long as they were on the camera, they took care, and kind of the church is like that sometimes. They do the camera thing, but you know what? That lady didn't have a place to sit or any food in the house. So you know what? Not saying anything about me, but I'm just saying that's the way we were. I had the most nice. Remember that leather couch that I had? It was leather maroon. Oh, you could sleep. Oh, it was so comfortable. So
The dog ate it?
no, well, I called the center, and I told the guys, I want you to bring that sofa, and I want you to bring food down here. So they loaded up with that sofa and the food, and we took it down to that lady's house. And you know what? Years later, I run into that lady. She says, we still got the sofa, you know? Because you know how much that meant to her? Yeah, they fixed the house, they painted and all that. But what is true love? True love
Giving,
is
receiving.
that person didn't have food in their home. That person didn't have a place to sit. So we're so concerned about the outside appearance that we don't look at the inside of what's happening in that person's life. So you're right. That's why, and I know a lot of people didn't like it. But hey, what's going on in your life? What's happened? Why are you here? How can we pray?
Well, they don't understand it. They don't, most people gather information to throw it back in their face.
Right.
Which, that's Satan's tool. That's not Jesus' tool. Jesus is working different. But
When you get up every day, we all have two choices.
every
And they're
day-
this simple. You can make an excuse or you can make a difference. And you need to choose that before your feet ever hit the ground. I'm serious.
You know,
Make a commitment to
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
I did a garage sale last week. I made a whopping $7.
$7?
$7.
What'd you sell?
A little screen, but all my tools, everything there. But here's the story. Okay, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, right? So this guy was Spectrum, was going around. So we got to talk with him. He used to be one of those too. And I tell him, you know, I thank God for them. They're a little quirky. They got, you know, issues or whatever. But let me tell you something. When that man came and knocked at my door and told me and asked me, would you like to learn the Bible? Well, I was in a period of my life that I moved from the hood to another hood because I was getting away from all my old boys, you know. I got married, so I went there. So I told the guy, yeah, I like to learn the Bible. And he says, but I got a problem. I'm 19 years old, 18, almost 20 years old. And I told him, I got a problem. What is it? I don't know how to read. Because I went through school. Used to cut everything.
Indoor and out the
With
other.
the hood training.
Yeah, we had, So here it is, I don't know how to read. And this man said to me, I'll teach you. So that man,
That's making a difference.
that man came to my house every Saturday. And he taught me out of that little book. Could have been the Bible, whatever it was, but they used that blue book, you know, the blue book. But he was there faithfully. That man would pick me up sometimes to go to church with me. Or when I went to church, or the J.W. place, you know what? Hey! And he sat over there? No. He purposely went and sat with me because that made a difference to me. And he would, we
He
would.
made you live up to your commitment.
Well, it's not that. What it did to me is that
He
he
supported
cared.
you.
He cared.
He supported
He
you.
showed that he cared. And we would have coffee. You know, that's caring. How many people are doing that today? How many people they want to preach? They want to preach the gospel. Do this, do that.
Probably so few would be a hard answer.
It is. And this is what I'm saying. That says, you know, that's kingdom. That's
Now,
the
what-
church.
My question is to you is how did you decide to ask that man? What did you know before you asked him to teach you the
Nothing. He came to my door.
Oh, okay.
He came to my door and
God
knocked
sent
on my door.
God sent him.
Yeah, God said.
Yeah. So my question is, how willing are we to be inconvenienced to do? See, we talk about the negative about JWs, and it is. But I love those people. Because why? They're living the kingdom where God says, go make disciples. Go make disciples. How many of us are willing to go out and do that? And I say that to the church. When I preached in different churches, they get pissed at me. You know why? Because I challenge them. I remember in one place I told them, I said, look, you've been sitting in the same chair for 30 years and doing what? When's the last time you did something to the Lord? You know, that's supposed to be part of our DNA. Oh, I don't know. Why don't you know? Don't you have the power of the Holy Ghost in you? Yet God said He will teach you all things. All you gotta do is open your mouth and the Holy Spirit take over. But people don't do that. They don't care. They don't care. Oh, let's go do a homeless outreach. Oh, we got a little a brown bag thing. Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? You do it once a month. They're hungry every day. They don't got a place to
There's a
sleep.
couple dollars. Some people
Yeah.
stink. I don't know.
I remember one year that the Don Cesar was changing all their beddings. all the comforters. And if you all remember way back when, if you ever been in there, those comforters that all have flowers and all that. So yeah, we'll take it. So we went and picked up over 100 comforters. They went from like that.
What was it, a motel?
The hotel, Dawson's Ark.
No, not bizarre.
So guess what? The funniest sight we ever will see. It was cold like it is today.
Every homeless person had flowers.
Everybody would walk around with these things all over St. Petersburg.
Thought it was the 60s again, man. Flower children.
But you know what?
Yeah,
To me, that my period, the period in life of the ministry, the Beam Center, was when we were down in that area and we were doing those very same things because we were on that line, the firing line. You know, that's ministry, that's church. Don't tell me about, oh, I've been in this church for 40 years. What have you been doing for 40 years? How many people are going to be standing behind you that when you go to heaven that you actually led to the Lord? How many of those people are out there? How many people will God put onto your thing that you led people to the Lord? I'm going to tell you right now, the great percentage of people will say no. I mean, everybody has their own techniques and ways of, because what I do is different, but you know what? I've seen where people would just stop, a guy stopped, he saw a man walk out there without shoes, and he took his shoes and gave it to him. You know, that's what we're supposed to do, give of ourselves. What you did, what you did there to help that lady, I mean, that's commendable, that's good, But that's you. You do that. You have a great heart. In spite of you have a great heart. Yeah, you have a great heart.
All right, that's enough out of you.
And you know what? And that's to me. That's the word. If I don't
Bartender.
really. Give me another. If I don't enter the church, the doors of a church, you know what? So what? I just want to know what you guys are doing. What are you doing? I don't want to hear none of your flip flap blah blah. Good sermon, good homiletics, good interpretation of the gospel. But what did Jesus says? Now you go do the same. This man, what he does in his ministry.
I think what he does is better than what I do.
Yeah, you know what? God bless him, because that's not mine.
I'm not saying it's easy, I'm not saying it's hard, but he's committed.
Every one of us, for example, every one of us has that opportunity to give. I know that Sam many times has given his labor away. Elsie given his labor away. To help somebody that needs it. But that's in your heart. You know what? God knows that. But we have to be about our Father's business. And our Father's business was to go fishing. We want to fill that fish with that boat with fish, and if we don't do that, what are we doing? We just doing the same old. We don't want to be like the rest of the people. You guys remember this? The Bible says that many in that day will say to me, Lord, Lord, didn't I do this in your name? Did that? Oh yeah, but he says, get away from me. I don't even know you guys. I don't even know you. Who are you? You did it for yourself. You didn't do it for me. And that's what he's going to say to the greater part of the church. To the greater part of the church. He's talking to the church. I don't know you workers of iniquity. And I'm doing yeah, man, come out here with me. Come out here with me and do something. But anyway, give me a tangent like that. Sorry.
Set an example.
Where's the lesson?
The lesson is go do.
Go ye into all the world.
Storm the gate. Remember that big
And
conference?
preach, and if you have to, use words.
Yeah. Remember the big conference they had? Youth conference. Storm the gates. Yeah. Yeah, it was. it was a youth thing. And storm the gates. And it was good. That's what we need to do. These people, what great opportunity right now.
Wonder hell does populate heaven.
What great opportunities we have today. Yesterday, I did a teaching over at the barbershop, and it was Isaiah 41. Fear not. That was my topic. Fear not. You know, and I read the scriptures. Fear not. You have no reason to fear. And God's got it. God's got this. And I mean, it was pretty good. I was going to do it today, but we didn't get there. So, but fear not. Don't be afraid. You know what? So what? I lose this. So what? I lose that. Who cares a rat? Because guess what? God will bless you. Man, you know.
You know, I have people, my wife, friends, they get on me. Because I've let a lot of people rip me off, take advantage of me and stuff. But I just tell them, if I'm going to err, I'd rather err on the side of mercy and grace than judgment and condemnation. Because it's like you touched on. The measure you judge is going to be used back against you. So I just hope when it comes my time that, you know, that grace and mercy I gave all the people that did what they did, you know, I forgive them and move on. I pray for them.
I think when we're merciful, people remember it too, like the couch. It never leaves their memory. We don't forget. It's one of our gifts, I guess. It could be the other way too, but we remember certain things where people touch us in certain ways.
We had that girl that was working at the Dream Center volunteering before you closed it, that we reached out to her when her brother got killed. And she was just a young girl.
Yeah.
She never forgot that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of examples like that.
You know what, Mark? Here, this is for me. That I've been around and around in circles, and I've been in my ups and downs, and I thank you guys because you guys have been there. And when I have my issues, you know, you guys are there. And if I need a kick in the ass, it's okay because sometimes.
10.5. Glad
Yeah.
to do it.
I'm in line.
And it's okay. But you know what? That's love also. That's love also.
Sure is.
You know, not forsaking one another. You know, all the scriptures are love, not forsaking, caring for one another. In spite of. That's kingdom. That's kingdom work. And you know, if I don't enter the doors of a gate of a church again in my life, you know what? My church is here on Friday, and the people when I go and meet somebody, we pray and we share, we do this, we encourage, we do that. You know, do the same. I'm tired of programs. There's only one program. That one program is that right there in the Word of God is love, compassion, caring. Now you go do the same, but I don't want all this programs and you're not doing anything. The church has a brown bag ministry. Oh, once a month they do a brown bag ministry. They make some thing and for the homeless, but they don't leave the church. We want the homeless to come to me, you know. And I said, no, let's go out there. Let's go to where they're at. You know, that's the problem. Oh, well, we can't. I ain't saying nothing, man.
Yeah, it was like
That's
yesterday,
your part.
nice.
Go and bring it. Because, you know, I've known people like you who would lay in the gutter with a person who's going through it. And I've known too many people that have never that. And you know what? Each man is going to receive a reward according to the gift that God has given him. See, if you don't lay down in the gutter, your gift will be small because God has called you to that. And so, if someone else is making the sandwiches and you bringing them, you're an active part of that. Sure. And because that's what God has gifted you to be. You know, it really is the body of Christ. And you can see
It's a domino effect. We have some little old ladies all the way in South St. Pete. They get together with their little old ladies every Tuesday it was. And they buy the bread, the peanut butter jelly, and all that. And they sit around there
Making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
and just
Put them
having
in bags.
and
Best
yeah,
fellowship.
and having fun and all that. And they, hey Sam, it's ready. Okay, I'll go down there and pick it up. And you know what? They were doing just as much, if not more, than I was giving it out to the people. You know?
Yeah, I love the beauty of the body. But the challenge is to see and then to be an active part. I know everybody can't come to the nursing home. Even my wife, she can't handle it. But she can handle teenagers where I don't want to slap them on the side of the head. So I don't want to deal with teenagers. I'd rather deal with the stench and smell and frustration and death. God has gifted me in that area. So it's really not work for me. It's just something that God has given for me to walk in. And so what is it going to be like when I get to see Jesus face to face? Some of these people who have discipled through the years, you know.
You know, my daughter, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said, but my daughter, for example, I don't know if I told the story before that she used to be mean to this guy. And I asked her, why are you mean to him? Well, didn't he do this to you and all that? No, that wasn't him, it was somebody else. She was mean to the wrong guy, you know? But my thing is, so like for example, yeah, I get mad people that have done this, which nights do you want on my back or whatever. But you know what? Down the road, how you doing, man? You know, and she says, why you be talking to this guy when he did? What am I going to carry this thing, man? I'm glad that God gave me the heart of mercy. That doesn't mean I'm gonna give you a chance to do it again. You know?
I remember you almost went fist cuff with a pastor. The cops come.